Hello and all, welcome to the Galaxy Man Show. I am here with this incredible artist known by the name of Justine Blanchet. I'm about to add Justine into the live now and have a chat with Justine about her incredible music career. So let's add Justine in and have a chat with Justine. Hello, Justine.
There we go.
Yes, here we go. Well, I just want to say first up, thank you so much for taking the time to join my show, Justine. It is such an incredible pleasure having you on the show for today. To people that don't know who you are, if you give like a bit of backstory about yourself, and then we'll dive right into the questions.
Yeah, you bet. So I was born in Montreal, Canada, and I've pretty much lived around Montreal my entire life. I started doing music when I was about four, and I started doing piano, and that was the instrument of choice. I wasn't really doing any singing at the time, and I did that for about 12 years, and then I did also some guitar in there in those years. It was really interesting, and I was able to develop some great skills. And acquire some great stuff for that. And so when I was about 12, I started doing opera and very different from country, that's for sure. And I really enjoyed doing that, but it wasn't my genre. And I was like, I think I want to do country music instead. And country's always been my favorite genre. So when I was 15, I started writing my own songs and just trying to do the country music thing and just giving it a shot. And I started releasing some singles, and it's been quite a journey because this last single has been my 10th single that I've released ever since I started. So
So we'll
it's been
dive
a
right into
journey.
the questions now, Justine. So for my very first question, as you mentioned, you've just released a single called Heartless. Like, what was it like creating this single, and what's the meaning behind Heartless?
Yeah, you bet. So I actually didn't write Heartless. I picked it out of a playlist that was pitched to me. And so I am terrible with names, but I'm gonna try to remember who wrote this song. But it was Mackenzie Porter, Jordan Smith, different last name, and Emily Wise Band. Great songwriters, Grammy nominated and all that stuff. It's amazing that I was able to even get this song. And I've had the song recorded for like a whole year now. It's been a little bit crazy, and I've been so excited to release it. I can't say that it comes from real experience, the lyrics from this song, but it was so well crafted, and the potential of the song that I had, I was like, I can't not do it. It sounds so good. So I just decided, I was like, this is it. I love it. And the songwriting of the song itself, I was like, this is so close to my own songwriting that I was like, it's amazing. Like I wanted to release it, and it sends a powerful message as well of just being confident, enough to walk away from a relationship when it's the wrong person for you, and that's really, really important
So
to
on to
know.
my very next question. So you've also created an original song called Hard to Love. Like, what was it like coming up with the idea of wanting to create this one? And what's the meaning behind this song?
Also another
Okay.
surprise because I didn't write this one either. Should have let you know ahead of time. But this one was written by Courtney Cole, Derek Sutherland, and Kelly Archer. Amazing people. I got to meet Kelly Archer a couple of times in Nashville, once in Canada. So it's been kind of fun to see her up and around in the country music industry. This song was the first that we picked from the playlist because we were recording three songs at once, and that was along with Heartless that was in the same playlist. And I really liked Hard to Love because it stems a little bit from, it's a little bit closer to my personal experience. I was in a toxic relationship about 4 years ago, and it was almost like the songwriters were kind of in the room when the whole relationship went down. And so I was like, this is very, very close. Close enough, to my own experience. And I was like, I feel like it's a great message for me to be able to send, and just being able to say that I'm out of it now. And it's just, it's a whole experience being able to be able to sing about it after it's happened, and it's
So on to my
empowering.
very next question. So you've also created a song called Get Out of the Mud. Fantastic title, by the way. What was it like? No, you're very welcome. So what was it
Thank
like
you.
creating this one, and what's the meaning behind this one?
Okay, so this
Okay.
one is actually an original. So, so that one, oh my goodness, it's been a while. Wow. So I wrote that one summer of 2020. I was home, and obviously everything was shut down, and I was like, I feel stuck. Like I feel like, especially in Canada, because the measures and everything for containing this virus and pandemic were quite strict here in Canada, especially in Quebec. And I was like, okay, like I really, really feel stuck. Like I can't even leave the house. And we had a curfew even at some point, and I was like, this is awful. Um, and so I literally wrote the song in 30 minutes. Like it was super fast, and it ended up like I ended up surprising myself because I was like, wow, the amount of metaphors in the song is kind of crazy. Like without even meaning to write so many metaphors, it's kind of funny. Um, and so I got to film everything and do the photography for that in 2021. And it was just such a fun journey. Obviously, we did it safely and all with the measures that were in place at the time. And so it was a great experience overall, and can't really ask for a more fun COVID baby as well.
So on to my very next question. So you've also created a title song called Got Away. What was it like creating this one,
Mhm.
and what's the meaning behind this song?
Yeah, that one is also an original. So essentially, I talked about a toxic relationship a little bit a little while ago, and when I finally sat down to write songs after that whole experience, it took me a while to get back to songwriting, and I didn't want to write anything that was mean or revengeful. I was like, I'm over it. Like, let's move on to some better things. And I really wanted to come to songwriting and write a song about the experience coming from my perspective of being like, what's the good that came out of it? What can I say? Where am I at now? And so I kind of took the whole the song that's like, oh, she's the one that got away and all that stuff, like that line, but I flipped it around and I was like, I'm the one that got away, because essentially it was a toxic relationship. So I was like, why not, like I flipped that little script around, and it was really interesting to get to put those little bits of pieces of that relationship without telling too much, because I didn't want to go into huge detail. But yeah, that one came out summer of 2020 essentially. So we also got to the music video was filmed in my backyard, in my parents' pool. So that was interesting. It was very fun. Fun experience to do. It was very quick. It was a quick music video shoot. But yeah, that was the overall thing, and I wasn't expecting anything great out of that song to come out, but it came out really cool, and the production was awesome. And yeah, I was just letting people in a little bit on my story without being too detailed.
So
Was
on
the
to
point.
my very next question about like your singing career. Like how did you like what made you decide as a person and especially as an artist to get into singing in the first place?
Okay, so my story is quite different from most people. Essentially, I mentioned earlier when I was introducing myself that I started singing when I was about 12, and that came after I was hospitalized for a burst appendix when I was 11. Well, it was the summer I was turning 12, and essentially, not to give an entire like half-hour story, short story is that I was in the hospital for about 3 weeks, and I was very close to sepsis and essentially dying. And so even at the time, I was still, still not very sure of what had happened. I was 11, and that's totally normal. That's totally okay. And I was a couple months later, I was like, I kind of feel like I had gotten a second chance after kind of just taking everything in and understanding that, I had almost died. And I was like, okay, this feels like I got a second chance. I feel like I get a second chance at life. So I was like, I kind of want to do something meaningful and maybe even help a couple people. And so that was kind of the whole thing that got me into singing. And I was like, maybe like I can use the talent that I have, develop that talent, develop that skill, and be able to maybe be able to reach a couple people and tell other people's stories and do what I can that way. And so that was my whole motive for
Have
starting
you ever
singing,
seen
essentially.
the film Raise Your Voice? It's actually
No, I haven't. I
like
haven't heard
very
that.
kind of like similar story in that aspect
Yeah.
of like dying
Oh,
and stuff, but like
interesting.
yeah, it's about
Yeah.
Lizzie McGuire stars as like the main actress in it,
Mm,
and it's like she has a
gotcha.
brother, something happens, and it's like she wants to pursue her music career basically, and it's very similar like what you just
Mm-hmm.
said, like it's very similar to like pursuing your music career like after you experienced death, basically. Like, you
Gotcha.
know, like yeah, but like
Mm-hmm.
so much praise for you, as you just said, like how you were hospitalized. You said, um, so much praise for an artist like yourself and everyone as artists like yourself. Please definitely go share Justine the amazing love and support. We need more inspiring artists like yourself. So I just wanted to say that. Um, but behind like the
Thank
music
you.
career and stuff, like what does performing music mean to you? Like especially as an artist.
I mean, there's a lot that goes into performing. A lot of it is prep. A lot of it is, I don't have a band, so I'm a solo artist, and so essentially I will hire musicians when I need them. So a lot of it goes into, booking gigs, and that can be very hard to do. A lot of work goes into it. I think I enjoy the most getting to put a set list together, and making like a strategic little thing going on, and I have like songs at strategic spots that create little moments, and that's been it's always a bunch of fun to do that. Um, and as a French Canadian artist, I always put one or two French songs in there, sometimes bilingual songs, and so it's just a way to pay honor, like homage to my roots. And so whenever there's a French audience, it's quite fun because then you see their eyes light up and they're like, I know this song or something like that. So it's always kind of fun. But I think the best is obviously it's always nerve-wracking to to do any performances, but it's always fun to just see people take in the music, take in the lyrics, take in the experience when I'm on stage. So it's not so much about being on there and giving a show, it's about seeing them
So
take in
on
the
to my
show.
very next question. So if you could perform any cover, like any cover song, like what would be your all-time favorite cover song to perform and why?
Oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you sent me the questions earlier and I've been thinking about it ever since because I'm unable to find one. I'm the type of person who has zero favorites about anything because I just can't pick one. I'm indecisive about it. But there's plenty of songs that are, oh my goodness, I literally cannot even pick one. Um, I think what's the song by Chris Stapleton?
Yes.
Tennessee Whiskey. I got to sing that song. It's such a cool one, and I get to do some riffs and all that stuff. It's great, and I got to sing it. It was just for
Okay.
fun at a bar in Florida with a friend, and we were like, let's just do it, because people were asking us to go up and sing, and it was quite an
A few,
experience. So shout out to
yeah,
Casey who
a
made
few
me
of the
sing that.
artists that I go to support at like local gigs and stuff, so like always sing Tennessee Whiskey and favorite song
No,
of all time. It
really?
is a classic,
I mean,
yes.
it's a classic,
Completely
right?
agree. So on
Yeah,
to my very next
yeah.
question. So like what if you could work with any top three music artists in the music industry, who would they be and why?
Okay, so I would definitely want to work with Reba McEntire because I love her energy. She's just awesome, and like two redheads together just bring the entire house down. I think it'd be awesome. And then I would also love to work with Morgan Wallen because his songwriting is phenomenal. The songs that he's released, amazing. And a while back, I was trying to get my songwriting to be just as good as what he was releasing, and probably a year ago, I'd say I was like I wanted to test the theory, and see if I could be influenced by songwriting if I only listened to his music. And so I did that for like a straight month, listened to only his music, and that's it. And then about a month later, after I started doing that, I was in a songwriting session and I came up with this line that I was like, that is like Morgan Wallen type of song, like type of lyric. Like, what is this? And I was like, "Ah, my theory works." Like, what? So it was really interesting to find that out. But yeah, I think that would be top two. And then for my third one, does it have to be
It
someone
could be
who's
alive or
alive
dead,
now?
whatever.
Or okay. I'd have to say, oh my goodness, I have to say for the third person,
Okay.
Elvis Presley. I mean, it's not possible, but I'd have to say that like I grew up listening to his music and everything, and I have a bunch of vinyls that my mom had back in the day. So they're I don't know if they're originals or anything like that, but they're part of my collection, and I still love to listen to his music once in a while. And it's just his influence and the impact he had on the industry is just insane. It's crazy. And I don't
I have
know.
to
I
ask,
think
by the
it's
way,
just
what
so
did
much
you
fun.
think of the Elvis Presley movie?
I was not gonna mention it, but I saw it this summer. I saw it this summer, and then I was like, huh, I really do like his music, and I hadn't been listening to his stuff in a while, and it got me back to listening to his stuff and just falling in love again with the rock and roll genre and just like soul and gospel and all that stuff. And I was like, man, this is good. Like it just kind of got me back into listening to
I love
vinyls and
that. So
records
on
of
to
his.
my very next question. So if you could go anywhere on tour, take your music to any place, any country in the world, where would you want to go to and why?
Um, okay, so this is an interesting question because I have so many different options. I have quite a few I could pick from, but and this is not like biased or anything at all, but I would definitely try to take my music to Australia. Um, and it would be because back when I was in university, I was writing a lot of papers about the music industry because I was very familiar with it, right? And so I did a lot of research and wrote a few papers on the growing country music industry in Australia. It's untapped, and I've seen a lot of people come out of that industry either go to Nashville or go elsewhere and make it big there. But I think there would be quite a
I
bit of potential
actually,
in
in fact,
Australia.
I'm actually from Australia, from Brisbane, Australia. Yeah,
I know that's why I was
yeah. I
like,
actually,
it's not biased
yeah, I
because
actually
I'm
went
talking to
to an
Australian.
event this year called Tamworth Music Festival. Great event for all country artists like yourself, and
Hmm.
definitely worth the experience to go there if you ever get the chance to come to Australia.
Yeah,
So I highly recommend it. Yeah,
I'll keep
awesome.
it in mind.
So on to my very next question. So what advice would you give to upcoming artists that want to get into music? And yeah.
Oh man, so many different pieces of advice I could give, and like I feel like I still need a bunch of advice all the time. So I could still benefit from what I'm about to say, but I think a lot of it would have to be just to keep going and also not be afraid um to branch out your skills because it's important to know what you're getting into. And so I have a degree in communications and marketing, and it's helped me tremendously in my career and be able to make great business decisions. And so I think it'd be really important for any artist to, yes, focus on music and focus on that skill and keep growing that way and network and do all these things, which is great, but also prove that you can be a great business person.
So on to my very next question about the advice for yourself. Like, if you could talk to your younger self, like, what advice would you give to your younger self looking back over your time in the career, music industry? And yeah.
Um, I guess I'd have to say that I'd have to, I guess, prepare myself, tell myself that there's going to be lows, a lot of them. There's going to be hurdles and difficult things to have to go through, and it's part of life. But unfortunately, that's how it is. And I think there'd be that, but also like I would also encourage myself to keep going because great things are on the horizon, and I'm in a place where I didn't think I was ever going to be there. And, things like traveling to Nashville and getting to stay there for a little bit and making connections with people over there and having great friends and even getting to talk to them while I'm back in Canada. Like, that's been insane. Like, I never could have thought it, I never would have imagined that happen and being able to have friend groups in the US as well as in Canada. Like, it's been quite a journey to expand my circle of friends
So
that
on to
way.
my very next question. So what are the positive and negative side into the music industry, and how do you get through those like negative moments as an artist?
Oh man, there's a lot of, I guess there's pros and cons. It just depends how much you put weight to each of those. Um, I guess I don't know. Like it's hard to say because everybody weighs those differently. I think for me, cons is having to be very patient. I'm not a very patient person, and so having to remind myself that it takes time, that I have to wait and wait for those opportunities to show up, and I can't force the doors either for those opportunities to come earlier. And so I think patience is the biggest con, and the biggest pro, I think, is the amount of people I get to meet. I have a terrible
Okay.
memory, like I will admit it. I'm horrible. but I get to meet so many people. I'm apologizing to half of them because I forgot about them, but I get to meet a bunch of people, and it's great to be able to sing to new crowds and be able to show new music and just be like, maybe it'll resonate with someone in the crowd, maybe it won't, I don't know. But I've had a few opportunities, a few events or moments where people have come up to me after shows and told me that the song I sang was literally something they went through with their mom. One of them is I wrote a song called Mama, I'm Sorry. And I sang that, and it was about, like me writing a letter to my mom telling her I was sorry for the way I behaved and things I did, and that, maybe we would have strayed. And that song was kind of like the first step to reconciliation. And so this woman came up to me after the show, and she was like, I went through that exactly with my mom, and my mom went that through with her mom. So it's kind of like interesting because she told me she found letters from her mom to her great grandma essentially. And I was like, that is insane. Like to find out it was an actual story somewhere to resonate with somebody else it's that's what songwriters look for essentially, is to know that somebody relates, you know?
So on to my very last question. So like what's next for you for the rest of 2023 onwards? Like any upcoming projects or gigs planned that you would like to announce?
Yes, I have really some awesome projects. I'm not sure about the second half of 2023 yet, but I have an EP coming out early summer. So it's set to be out in June some point. I'm not sure on the date yet, but yeah, so the single I just released is the second release of this EP. The little sneak peek for my EP, and it's my debut EP. So it's a first, and I'm really excited because I'm like, I've never done this. I've never released like a whole 5 or 6 songs at once. It's scary. It's very expensive. But it's been quite a journey. It's been a project that I've been on for, oh gosh, like about I want to say 2.5, maybe 3 years now. So long time coming.
Awesome. So I
I'm
just want to
excited.
say thank you so much for taking the time to join my show, Justine. It has been such an incredible
You
pleasure. You've
bet.
been such a good vibe, by the way. Everyone, no, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
So
Thanks for
I
reaching
just want to
out.
say, everyone, definitely go support Justine. Support more amazing artists like Justine. We need inspirational artists like Justine in this world. I just wanted to say that. Lastly, any last final thoughts or anything that you would like to share on the show to people?
Well, I want to thank you for reaching out. Obviously, that's been so much fun, and just knowing people in Australia
Yeah.
are actually wanting to interview me is pretty cool. Not gonna lie. So
I thought I was the exception, but deep down I know that I was just one more notch for your collection. Of course you walked away. Maybe I thought I could fix you, but boys like you aren't fixable. And I knew better than to be with you, but I tried anyway. Oh, that thing in my chest always thinks it knows best.